What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show.
I tell friends all the time, you want to know what the average Iraqis like? They're like you, right? They're trying to live their life. They're trying to make a better life for their family. They're trying to pursue, whether it is economic security, happiness, freedom, etc. But guess what? If somebody came here and tried to kill somebody we knew, whether it was intentional or not, where's the fucking guns? Let's go, right? Imagine the American response if America was invaded.
Oh, yeah.
And so I always use that there was a point in time right around 2007 to 2009 that there was something called SOI, Sons of Iraq. And basically what the United States figured out was like, hey, we don't have enough soldiers to put checkpoints all over this country. We need to teach the Iraqi people how to do this. And so they created this coalition, essentially, and they went and they recruited people. And what they said was, this is your country. You young men, you sons of Iraq, you have to be able to defend yourself. Because one day we're going to leave. Probably not anytime soon, but like one day we're going to leave. And so during this time period, they basically tried to train these people. They helped them set up checkpoints at the beginning and ends of their towns. They really kind of put a lot of time, energy, and money into this. And it probably changed the war for quite a while. Because now all of a sudden, you didn't need American soldiers there to deter things. Because now what you had was the sons of Iraq who are willing to defend their own country. I've always said America is full of the equivalent. There's a lot of people. And you can look right now. How many people are willing to step up into roles in their local community? But also, even if you look at like the border crisis, there's a lot of people who are doing a lot of things that may not be quote unquote sanctioned, right, by the federal government, but they're saying enough is enough. I'm going to defend my family, my community, my land, etc. And so I always think back to that push by the Americans is probably one of the most American things we did in Iraq. What I wish we would have done on top of it is we should have been able to teach them or to give them economic freedom. And the problem is that when you're the hammer, you're always looking for the nail.
Yes.
And so most of our soldiers, if you give them a gun, that's the mentality they're in. But if we would have been able to lift some of these individuals in these communities out of their situation without having to leave their community, it would have changed the face of that country. And so
how do you do that, though?
Well, with the internet, it's much easier. Right? Historically, you would have had to make physical things, right? You would have had to figure out how to operate a physical business, et cetera. But with the internet, right? What would have the impact been in, let's say, Iraq, if you could have taken every 13 to 18-year-old male and taught them how to code? Now, again, it's not like, you see today in American kind of conversation, people are like, oh, learn to code. It's not that, right? But it is, with the internet, you are able to democratize economic activity, right? And if you're able to take someone off of the potential battlefield by giving them another path, it's no different than in American cities where we talk about, hey, this kid's got one of two options. Either they find a way out or they're going to join a gang, right? It's very similar. Is if your entire family joins the gang, you're probably going to join the gang.
Yeah, you're going to join it. That's right.
Right. And guess what they're saying?
Cycle.
And guess what they're saying? We're going to defend our country. We're going to defend our town. Yeah, no shit, right? If I was a 14-year-old boy in Iraq, you know what I'd do? Give me a gun. Tell me where to stand, right? Show me where they're coming from, and let's see what happens. I don't care what vehicles they have.
Did you make a distinction on that too? Because like obviously you're dealing with that 1% where you do have some people who before you got there were hardened terrorists, right? But then you have a lot of people who maybe after the invasion happened, again, it's their homeland, are like, what the fuck? All the door-to-door stuff is going on.
Yeah, they came in my house. They kicked in my door, and they killed my dad.
And so when you see that, was there some sort of distinction made between like those types versus like the hardened types?
It's unclear because frankly, you don't get to talk to a lot of them. Right? You don't know, like one of the things that is missing in society generally is just like, we don't talk to each other. Right? Yeah. Twitter's a perfect example. I hate you. right? Somebody will
right.
tweet. There was a guy, maybe, I don't know, a year ago, saying all kinds of crazy stuff on the internet. I just DM'd him. I said, hey, man, you want to get on a call for 5 minutes? I'd love to just hear your complaints, right? Just tell me. Like, I love feedback. We got on a call. By the end of it, he was like, dude, I love your stuff. I literally wanted to like take all the tweets and be like mail them to him for Christmas. Be like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Right?
Oh, that's so good.
And so that is like the definition of society is that we now, it's all about like scoring the like intellectual points,
Yes.
right? Or like the internet points. And so you unfortunately, there's language barriers, right? There's all kinds of things that are at play in the complexity.
Hey guys, if you haven't already, please make sure you go subscribe to our other channels here on YouTube to support the show. We are posting different daily content on Julian Dorey clips, Best of JDP, and Julian Dorey daily every day, including mid-form and short-form clips. So if you haven't already subscribed to those, please go subscribe by hitting the links in my description below. Thank you.
But I've told a story before where I remember driving down the road. And we used to, at times, if we had extra stuff that people had sent us that we didn't need, we would like throw it out to Iraqi children, et cetera. And they would like follow us. They knew that we had like candy or whatever, right? We'd throw it to them. And I want to be careful to not position like every soldier is great, right?
Yeah.
There are definitely soldiers, like remember, you're at war. You don't have a lot of oversight. There are people who do dumb shit and frankly do stuff that are counter to
Sure.
things that we should be doing as a country, right? So it's not everyone, but majority of the soldiers, I would say 95+% of them are there to do the right thing, try to follow the rules, do their job, go home. And I remember driving, and I don't know how old this kid was, 12, 13, 14 years old. It's the first time I ever saw a kid with actual hate and evil in his eyes. And he was looking at us. He didn't have to say anything. You just knew if this kid could, he'd kill us.
1,000-yard stare.
Just the way he looked. I mean, it just, for whatever reason, it just was a international. If I was walking down the street and I saw this kid and I wasn't here in an armored vehicle with a gun in my hand, I'd probably cross the street. I don't want trouble, right?
Yeah.
But this guy, he wants the trouble. And so again, he's 12, 13, 14, maybe 15 years old, right? And you see that and you're just like, man, that's a hard life, right? That is a hard life for a kid who has that in their eyes and their heart to then grow up. What do you think? That doesn't go away, right? And so it's no different than certain generations of Americans who, if you go and you talk to them, I hate a certain nationality or something because back in the war, right?
Yes.
Same thing here. And so when I saw that, I just remember being like, man, this shit is just nasty. And so it goes back to the Luttrell quote. It's just like, look, we need politicians who are strong leaders who are able to go ahead and actually do what they can to prevent us from going to war, because we have the best fighting force in the world. And when you send them somewhere, they are going to fuck shit up. And it is not always the direct damage that you're able to assess. There's a lot of collateral damage that is hard to measure. And so if you look today, one of the big questions, and we don't know the answer, right? There's a lot of speculation, a lot of conspiracy theories, none of that. Just a very direct question of how many men did we piss off during the global war on terror who now see an opportunity to come into our country and cause trouble?
A lot.
Maybe.
That's the answer.
I don't know what the answer is. Maybe it's zero. I don't think so, but it could be zero, right? Or it could be a lot. And part of it goes back to, you can't walk around a battlefield with roses, right? Like,
it's war.
There's bad people who are trying to do bad things.
Yes.
So you got to do shit to neutralize them.
Yes.
But there is this collateral damage. And so this is a story as old as time. People used to infiltrate or invade lands, and they would rape and pillage and kill and do all this stuff. And guess what? There'd be a lot of bad stuff there too, right? And so I think that's just happening, now.
Yeah, and that's kind of the endless cycle of it, where no one. How do I say this right? It's like, it's just human nature. It's not really that someone's at fault there. Like, if you are put into a situation where war actually is necessary, and you can argue some wars maybe they're not, but let's say World War II, for example, pretty goddamn necessary. Mm-hmm. The people who are sent there both have their job to do, and then as a result of that's the highest emotion situation you can be in, literal life and death, bullets flying by, your buddy's getting killed, like rah, rah, rah. you're going to have feelings about that afterwards. You're just going to, like, there's no way around that. So sometimes cynically, I'm like, there's kind of, because that's going to then affect the next generations, because those people go home, they have kids, they tell their kids about the war. There's certain emotions and attitudes that are formed socially towards perhaps other people or areas of the world. Cynically, you kind of have a spout of an endless cycle of there will always be some form of war in the world. And I hope we get to a point where, yay, world peace, we don't have that. But like, I do try to live in reality, and I don't think I'm going to be alive on this earth at a point where there is not some form of serious conflict that involves people on the ground against other people on the ground in some way hurting each other. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.